payday. All right, let's go, let's go.
Hey, Daddy, you forgot your lunch. Wait!
Never get this joint on time yet.
Oh, what's it doing here? You can't.
Look at that, just made it. Look, not this awful jerky.
Pushing and shoving. Come on, you be late. Come on, you.
Time for a cigarette, haven't we?
Let's see, cigarette.
Sam? Yeah, thanks, bud. Here.
Yeah. Oh, watch what you're doing, will you? Oh, Mike must be broke lately. Broke. Look at that, will you?
There you are.
What's the matter with you? Can't you wait your turn?
I don't wait for nothing. I take what I want.
What do you mean?
You're Mr. Franklin, Personnel Director. Your secretary said I'd find you here. Jarvis, Rehabilitation Bureau.
I'm mighty glad to meet you. I've been expecting you. We had talked on the phone today. Well, you're here. Can I take you around the plant a little bit?
I would like that.
Fine. Let's go this way here.
Glad you came here, Mr. Jarvis. I don't know what's eating Lambert here, but all of a sudden he hauls off and hits that safety man. We've had enough of that sort of thing around here, Lambert. And I just told him, Mr. Jarvis, as of right now, you're suspended pending inquiry.
You better go to the dispensary.
All right, the show's over. All you other men, get back to work.
I'm telling you, the guy's nuts. I've been telling these guys for a couple of weeks now. They ought to put him away, lock the door, and throw away the key. Oh,
Stop it!
Come on, look at him. He's nuts, I'm telling you.
All right, everybody, back to what's going on.
That man there who was just suspended, has he been with you long?
Yes, 14 years. I've just been looking over his records.
Was he a good worker?
Yes, and not easily replaced. As a matter of fact, we'll probably have to fire him. There's nothing else to do in a case like this. But let's talk about you. I understand you're from the Rehabilitation Service.
That's right. Here's my card.
Well, attached to a mental hospital.
Yes, Mr. Franklin, my job is to place in employment or reemployment those recovered patients released from the hospital.
No good, rotten tramp. Thought I wouldn't catch you, didn't you, huh? Well, today I'm home early. You're not with another man, haven't you?
Let me go!
Go on, run, you no good street woman! Then the other men's friends, go on! Go on!
Stay where you are.
Bud, what's the matter?
Stay right
This
there.
isn't like you. You're a sick man. How's the pregnancy coming on? We'll have to go to the hospital.
Hospital?
Yes, Bud. Come on,
Stay where you are.
let me help you, Bud. Yes, he's on his way. He's had a sedative and is resting nicely. Oh, you could expect him within an hour. Yes, I'll be mailing my report by tomorrow. Very well. Thank you. Goodbye.
At our first staff meeting, Mr. Lambert has been provisionally diagnosed as schizophrenia with paranoidal tendencies. A physical examination and routine laboratory tests are underway. The day he came to the hospital, Mr. Lambert had had some trouble at work. He stated that the foreman had become difficult, started finding fault with his work.
They're watching. I know they're watching. Always watching. But where? Who could it be? That's him. It's the safety man. The one guy doing roads. All of it. He's the one. He's the one.
Since the patient at first refused to eat and became dehydrated, intravenous feeding was initiated. Intensive psychotherapy has been started. During the past month, Mr. Lambert has shown improvement. He's beginning to trust me now, is talking much more freely, and is much more responsive. Occupational Therapy Department, Miss Marshall, this is Dr. Claymore. Remember my talking to you about Mr. Lambert? I was wondering, have you found a job that would make him feel important? Miss Marshall, this is Mr. Lambert.
The records show that Mr. Lambert has had experience with looms, and I'm just hoping that he's going to be able to help us out of a tight spot. We haven't been able to get this loom balanced for months. How about it? Please.
Oh. You mustn't be very bright. We got any decent tools around here?
Miss you? Of course we do. Mostly during those long nights. Oh,
Oh, honey, it'll be so wonderful to have you back home with us again. And the children will be so happy.
Well, what makes you think I'm coming home so soon, Mary?
Well, because every time I see the social worker, she tells me that the doctor says you're improving. Better and better all the time.
The patient continues to show improvement, and it is my opinion that he is ready to appear before social planning staff for consideration of a trial visit home. The patient is now willing to assume a new learning role, which should mean much toward giving him ego support. This is quite significant regarding proof of recovery. Within a few days, I will confer with Rehabilitation Service about the possibility of simulating a work situation here in the hospital.
Dr. Claymore, I think a surprisingly good job has been done with Bud Lambert, and I hear that you're scheduling him tomorrow before the social planning staff for his final appearance regarding his trial visit home.
Yes, we're all very pleased with his progress. I think we can thank the entire staff, particularly Miss Marshall in occupational therapy. She's done an excellent job with Bud. You'd be interested in knowing a couple of his friends are over there now. I think fellas he worked at the plant with.
Hey, is this the loom you fixed, Bud?
Yeah.
Good job. Very good job.
Take a look at that, Hank.
Oh, say, did you make this, Bud? Well, that's very good. Just say that's Sam. Isn't that good?
Hey,
Yeah.
wait till the foreman hears about this. He's liable to move you up front, Bud. You know, the job around that blonde, Maisie.
Yeah, do you remember?
The job you always said you wanted.
Well, right now I want a job. Any job. Get back home again. Back with you guys.
Well,
again in the
that's what we
car.
want, too. That's what we want, too. Say, what's this?
That's for the dance tonight.
Dance?
Yeah.
You mean girls?
Sure.
Girls. Man, say, Bud, how long before I can get in this hotel?
Ah, come on. You guys now.
You really believe he'll make it? You think the staff will recommend his release?
Well, that all depends on how he handles himself at the staff meeting.
Oh, you mean, for example, how he would answer a question? If you're sick again, what would you do?
That's right. Now it's up to Mr. Lambert. In the meantime, I haven't been bothering him about it. Right now, he's over there putting the finishing touches on his costume for the masquerade they're having tonight. You know, he certainly is a lot better when he can show this much interest.
For the information of the new members of the staff, I should like to call attention again to the basic principle that the hospital operates as a team. The patient is considered fully recovered only when he is working successfully back on the job. There is a good chance our first patient will be one we can call fully recovered. It looks that way from what I have read in this clinical record. Dr. Claymore, will you present Mr. Lambert?
As you recall, the patient has been before our staff a number of times. However, during the past 2.5 months, he's demonstrated appreciable insight. On the basis of this, I would now like to recommend his release from the hospital for a trial visit home.
Do we all concur in this recommendation? Dr. Barnes, as staff psychologist, what is your conclusion after having seen Mr. Lambert?
All psychological studies indicate that this patient has more ability than he's ever had the opportunity to use. This, of course, is a very frustrating situation. It's my opinion that he will not only be able to return to his former job, but in time he may even be able to assume supervisory responsibility. I would concur with Dr. Claymore's recommendation.
Miss Brennan, as Mr. Lambert's social worker, what are the attitudes of the family and of the community concerning the possibility of Mr. Lambert's return home?
I've talked with Mrs. Lambert a number of times. The family was under considerable financial pressure following Mr. Lambert's admission to the hospital, and we helped Mrs. Lambert secure financial assistance through the social agencies in her community. Mrs. Lambert has been greatly relieved to learn that her husband's accusation of her was but a symptom of his illness. She seems much more understanding of him now and is looking forward to the possibility of his returning home. As for the community, Mr. Lambert has been most fortunate. His minister has visited him often. His work associates have kept in touch with him. And even the school principal, whom I talked with concerning one of the children who was upset about his father, has become interested in the family.
Miss Brennan, how does Mr. Lambert feel about attending our outpatient clinic in his own community in the event he leaves the hospital?
I've talked this over with Mr. Lambert, and he seems glad for the opportunity to attend our outpatient clinic.
Mr. Jarvis, what are the chances of Mr. Lambert's getting his old job back?
I'm seeing the personnel director for a final decision within the next few days.
Ask Mr. Lambert to come in. Good morning, Mr. Lambert. Sit down, please. We are hearing nice things about you. Isn't that true, Miss Marshall?
Mr. Lambert's been our right-hand man. He's been able to get all our equipment in good shape. And besides that, he's had time to try his hand at half the crafts in the shop. I don't know how he's done it.
Well, I never thought I'd learn anything from a woman, but there you are. I sure lost up that last job, didn't I?
Mr. Lambert, we're thinking seriously of sending you home. What do you think of the idea?
Think of it. I could take care of my family again. Be with my wife and my children. Go back to work. Well, that is, if I can find a job. Doctor, I'd be coming back to life again. I wasn't only sick when I came here. My mind was all fogged up. Since I've been here, you people have helped me to see and to feel myself again. I think I can see daylight ahead.
If you should have a return of those same feelings and moods, what would you do?
What would I do? I'd be sick again. If I was sick again, I'd need a doctor. Dr. Claymore, would you take me back as a patient?
Is there anything else you'd like to add, Mr. Lambert?
No.
That's all, thank you. Dr. Claymore will talk with you later.
Thank you.
I think we will all agree the patient seems quite well. He has insight into his previous illness. He has accepted the need for care and treatment. He appears willing to accept help in the future if necessary. His leaving the hospital will depend upon two factors. One, the readiness of his family to take him back. Two, the availability of a job. That means another visit by the social worker to his wife. Also remains conditional upon Mr. Jarvis being able to get Mr. Lambert's old position back or else a new one. For the record, on the receipt of satisfactory reports from the social worker and from Mr. Jarvis, a date may be set when Mr. Lambert may return home. Granted a leave of absence during this trial period.
I wanted to have this talk with you, Mrs. Lambert, since the doctors feel that your husband is now ready to leave the hospital. I think you will agree he is much improved. He's been working now for some while here at the hospital at a job similar to his previous work. How do you feel about his returning home? Are you ready for this?
Ready. Oh, I think it's wonderful. I can hardly wait. Bud's been telling me about all he's been doing here and how he'll be going to the outpatient clinic in our town when he gets back. Oh, Miss Brennan, I can't thank you enough. The children will be so happy.
We've been looking forward to your return at the church. I saw the choir director yesterday, and he said that he's been holding a place for you in the choir. I suppose you still sing baritone?
Yes, I sure do. Maybe a little more mellow. Thanks for all the good you've done for me. All of you. It sure has helped a lot.
Mr. Jarvis, you and I have had a series of conferences. I don't know what to say. I really don't.
Well, first, Bud Lambert is able to do the job. You said he was a good worker before he was sick. And now we have been able to observe, through test situations and an actual trial work program within the hospital, there hasn't been any significant loss of skill as related to his old job. Quite probably, a good bit of this man's frustration is that he was capable of doing much more than he had ever done before. It's even possible in this case, as our psychologist has brought out, that at some future date he may be able to assume even more responsibility. We can't always say this, for often we can only recommend reemployment where the job demands have been scaled down, possibly under changed working conditions. But in Bud Lambert's case, is a skilled and valuable worker able to do his job. Once again, he is steady and reliable.
I'm not convinced.
Mr. Franklin, do you know what Bud Lambert has said to me? He said, if I can't be rehired on this job on the basis of my ability to do the job, then I'll take a little longer, and I'll look elsewhere. And he said, I don't want pity.
Did he really say that? Okay, we'll take him back.
For thy gracious blessings, O Lord, we give thee grateful thanks. Amen.
And for the sun, the earth, the air, for friends also, we give thanks.
Don't know if I can really make it. How can I face that job tomorrow morning? The safety net. That smirking Big Mike. Don't know if I'm really worthy of such a fine wife.
Maybe I ought to go back to the hospital. They said I could. Try again later, some other time. I feel so shaky. The morning never comes.
Burn it down. Don't shut me over there. I can't.
That'd be good to see the old gang again.
Yeah, won't it, Phil? Come on now, let's get a gig on.
Come on, they're on me.
Oh, cigarettes.
There you go, Sam.
Sure, thanks, Bud. Say, this is like old times.
Yeah, like old times. Hey, just like old times.
Yeah, it's almost like old times, but better.
Yeah, much better. Oh, thanks a lot.
Gee, but it's good to be back. That foreman is such a friendly guy. Everything seems so right. Can anything ever shake me again?
What do you know? Wonder how long this is going to last. Yeah. Well, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see.